Multi-Disciplinary Nature of Management. So basically what we are saying is that management is a discipline that involves other discipline. Discipline is like areas of knowledge. They are areas of knowledge. For example, you can say that in banks, you need to understand maybe a little bit of customer service. You need to have a little bit of human relation or customer service or human resource. You need to have a little bit of banking. You need to have a little bit of accounts, risk management. So in banking has got different knowledges that are required. Management also has the same. So we are saying that management involves different disciplines, right? It has some elements of science, it has some elements of art and profession. So I want us now to look at this particular area, management as a science. The examiner can ask you, can you discuss management as a science? What do you think can make people feel like management is a science? Management is a science. So the first thing is management as a science. Management as a science. So the question is, do you think management is a science or it is an art? What are the characteristics of science that can make management be thought of to be a science? So you can say that a science is a systematic knowledge pertaining. A science is a systematic knowledge pertaining. A science is a systematic knowledge, a systematic body of knowledge, it is a systematic body of knowledge pertaining to specific field. Specific body of knowledge pertaining to specific field. Specific body of knowledge pertaining to specific field of study. Field of study that contains general facts. Specific field of study that contains general facts which explains a phenomenon. General facts which explains a phenomenon. It is a knowledge pertaining to specific field of study that contains general facts which explains a phenomenon. Science establishes cause-effect relationship between two or more variables. And that is the most important thing. I want you to write that and underline. That science establishes cause and effect relationship. Science establishes cause and effect relationship. Science establishes cause and effect relationship between two or more variables. Between two or more variables. Between two and more variables. Let's look at the characteristics of science that can make somebody think that management is also science. So science as a discipline has got the following characteristics. So let's look at characteristics of science. If I'm so fast, you let me know. Characteristics of science, number one. And then we shall be able to check if these characteristics also apply to management. The first characteristic is that science has got cause and effect relationship. Cause and effect relationship. That means that in science, we have a principle that says that for every action, there is a reaction, right? When you drop this pen down, you know what will happen, right? You know the feedback, right? The same way with management, and that's why we are saying that management can be a science, because in management, we also have cause-effect relationship. How does this happen? In management, if you mistreat employees, they will give a bad service. It can be predicted. It is predicted. We know that if you pay employees well, you treat them well, they will give a good service. That can be predicted. If you treat them well, you can retain them for a long time. So therefore, being that science has got a cause-effect relationship, for every action there is reaction, management also borrows this knowledge. And that's why we are saying it is a multidisciplinary because it borrows from science. Management borrows from science some knowledge. If that's okay, then we can move to the second point. We are saying that number two is test of validity and predictability. test of validity and predictability. Something that is valid, that is something that can be confirmed or is true, is verifiable. Some of the things that happens in management, they can be verified. We can know the source. We can know whether they are true or they are theories. Predictability basically means the same thing as what we are talking about, the cause-effect relationship. You can predict the outcome of some actions. So validity of science principle can be tested at any time and confirmed, and it will be the same. Like I talked about when you are throwing stones, like Newton's laws of motion. When you throw something, it can be predicted. It can be confirmed and verified over time. The same with management. The effects of actions in management can be predicted, can be tested, they can be confirmed. And so it stands the test of time. So each time a test is done, it can give the same results. Anytime you mistreat employees, you expect the same results. They will go away, they will perform poorly. The next one, principle based on experimentation and observation. Experimentation and observation. In science, we normally do experiments. And then you observe. In science, you go to laboratory, do experiment and observe. In management, you can also do experiment. You can try and see how people behave and then observe. So we are saying, in science, this principles means that you can be able to perform experiment, do a research, get outcome, and now apply. The knowledge management skills that we apply have been experienced somewhere else. So we normally observe how people behave somewhere, or from the previous literatures, we can be able to apply such kind of knowledge in the current scenario. The principle that Earth goes around the sun is a scientific principle, right? It is something that has been, many people have tried it. It means that they have observed, they have seen it, they have confirmed. The same applies with management. If we say that employees who are poorly trained, employees who are not given resources cannot perform well, employees who are not educated or experienced cannot perform well, that thing has been tested somewhere else. People knows if you have incompetent employees, the best thing is just to train them, because it has been experimented that you get cheap resources, they will also perform poorly. They will give you product of low quality. So that has been tested. So therefore, just like in science, we can experiment and observe, in management, we can also try, you can experiment. Get those cheap labor, employ them, you will see the result. The next thing is universality. Universal validation of laws and principles. Universal validity of laws and principles. Universal validity of laws and principles. What does that mean? It means that the laws that we use in science can be applied everywhere. The way Newton's laws apply in Kenya, it also applies in a different country. The principles in management, like when we talk about unity of direction, we talk about unity of command, we talk about equity, right? Scholarship. These are principles of management. They are applied in Kenya. They can also be applied in other parts of the world. So the laws and principles that are used in management are also applicable in Kenya as they are in a different country. The same way we do apply the laws in science. Therefore, we are saying that management behaves similar to science. So examiner can ask you, can you explain the proofs or discuss management as science? You need to now look at the characteristics of science and how they can be applicable in management. And that is a question that they have set in some years back, not very long ago, between 2022 and now, they have set questions like that, and people are able to answer such. They can give you like 5 marks or 10 marks If you can be able to put like this and explain, that is 2 marks. This one also 2 marks. So they can give you 10 marks or 8 marks, then they expect you to give some good answers, right? If you attend class very well, definitely you will not have a problem in answering that. Let's look at management as a science. How does management borrow as an ant? How does management borrow the knowledge from art? How do we borrow the knowledge of an art in management? So management as an art. You are allowed to interrupt if you have any question. You can interrupt if you have any question so that you get clarification. Management as an art. Management as an art. What do you understand by art? Artists are people who are using their creativity to do something that is very unique, all right? We have people who have gone to school, but they can still not apply the knowledge. We have people who never went to school, but they have unique ways of management. Unapata mtu ni wa D, mtu ni wa high school too, mtu ni wa amefanya course ingine separate, certificate, but they are good managers. They are applying their special skills and knowledge. Therefore, if you can apply something that is unique, something that is not universal, it is not everywhere. Like in science, you apply things that are applied everywhere. But if you can apply something that is very unique to achieve a certain or desired results, then that one, we are now calling it an art. Like those who are acting, they are artists because they are doing things that are very unique, that it is only them can do it most of the time. We talk about those who are drawing, those who are singing, they are artists because they are doing their own special things in a special way that has never been seen before, most likely. So I want to say that an art implies application of knowledge. You are applying your own knowledge. An art implies application of knowledge. An art implies application of knowledge. And art varies from one person to another. It is application of knowledge, it varies from one person to another. This is an application of knowledge, it varies from one person to another. It is an application of knowledge, it varies from one person to another. So that means that what I can do, maybe someone else might not do it. Of course, it is prone to failure. If you try copying somebody, you might not make it. So let's look at the characteristics of an art that make people think that management is an art. What are the characteristics of an art? What happens in art? Number one, it involves practical knowledge, not theory, not things that have been developed, not literatures. Practical, you can see how I'm drawing, how I am singing, practical knowledge. In management, things change. The way you can be able to manage is different from the way I can be able to manage. I need to apply whatever I've learned somewhere practically now. And you might realize that the way I do it is different from yours. You can do it in a special way than what I do. I can be good in talking, but now applying it in management is a totally different thing. So every time an art requires the knowledge, every art requires a knowledge of practical knowledge to be able to solve problems. They require practical knowledge to be able to solve problems. Therefore, learning is not just theory. Theory is not enough. The practical application is very important. Just like in music, somebody can be trained how to sing, but applying that, how to compose a song, how to compose a tune, how to sing the voice, those are now quite practical that you might not just get in class. Class alone is not enough. Class alone might not be enough. You need to have an inborn knowledge. So managers cannot be successful if they cannot be able to apply their knowledge, right? To be able to solve situations or specific cases as they come. So just like artists, managers need to apply their knowledge to solve practical problems, you can say that just like in art, managers applies knowledge to solve practical problems. It is not theory. You apply knowledge to solve practical problems. Just like a good painter, you might be taught how to paint, but when you have been taught in class, but practically it is different. The next one is personal skills. Application of personal skills. So even though you can be taught in class, somebody can give you skills, but the way you are applying it, your styles are different. I'm sure you have seen some fundis. I'm a mechanic, carpenters, whatever wamesoma, lakini people prefer one fundi to another. Why? Because of the style, the approach of sorting the problem or amending the problem is different. The way they are going to sort your problem is different. So you say that, what a mechanic, but I prefer so and so, because they have some unique way of doing it. They have to apply personal skills. Apart from being practical, they apply personal skills. So you can see, for example, there are so many qualified mechanics, but there is a specific mechanic who can actually be recognized for his style of doing job. So I want to say that just like you can say that management requires the application of personal skills. Since people use different styles, people apply different styles to solve problems. They apply different styles and approaches to solve problems. We have creativity. Creativity. So in management, you have to be creative. You have to be somebody who is focused, and thinking deeply. That is why you'll have to produce something that is unique, something that is special, because you have to apply some creativity. In management, you might actually meet a situation where things are not so good. You have to apply creativity to be able to solve the problem. Maybe people are fighting and all of them are your friends. They are fighting over resources or something. How do you solve it in a way that somebody cannot feel offended? The next one, perfection through practice. Perfection through. I'm sure you have seen people, artists, like the common one today. We have a gentleman by the name Prince Indah. When you look at him, he has perfected his art. He has been practicing over time, and is now at the peak of his career. The same thing, we have people who are athletes. Those athletes are able to perfect their skills over time. They have experience. They know at what point should I now increase my speed. So that means that in management as well, good managers are able to see things. When they look at the situation, they remember that such kind of things they have seen before. With experience comes with age. It comes with age, it comes with work, with time. So managers also become more perfect as time goes. And that is why people say that there are politicians like, for example, Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is a good politician. People don't know that he has a lot of experience over years. He knows when to push the government. He knows when to slow down. He knows when to take advantage of the situation. He knows when to lay back. So when you are in management, you need to be able to gather more experience with the time. Practice, and become perfect. So perfection is through practice. Another thing is goal-oriented. Goal-oriented. That is number 4. Goal-oriented. So what are we saying here? Artists have a goal. They have a goal that they want to achieve, to an extent that when they finally arrive there, they are successful. In management, you also need to set a goal, not like science. I don't think that science is goal-oriented. In management, you need to have a target. This is what we want to achieve. The same thing with artists. The same thing with athletes. The same thing with those who are doing drawings. The same thing with any musicians. They have a target. So once they are able to achieve that target, they now set a new target. So every art is result-oriented. It seeks to achieve concrete results. You can say that just like arts, management is result-oriented. Management is result-oriented. It seeks to achieve a concrete results. Management are goal-oriented. They seek to achieve concrete results. Let's look at management as a profession. We have looked at management as a science. We have looked at management as an art. I want us now to look at management as a profession. The examiner can ask you, can you discuss management as a profession? So what do you understand by profession? Or what comes to your mind when you hear the term profession? Maybe somebody can tell me, what do you understand by the term profession? What do you understand by the term profession? Management as a profession. Mihesa, what is a profession? What is a profession? So let me try to look at past paper questions where they have been able to set this kind of areas, these areas. I have some past paper questions here. Let me see if I can get one. So profession is where there is a body, of knowledge, where people study. For example, laws. Lawyers, we go and study law. Engineers, we study law. We study engineering. Doctors, the same way, and accountants. So if you have specific body that you can specify that this is what I want to learn, I want to be, that is now what we call my profession. Now, I want to write down, Mary, can you write down this year? We have a question in December 2021. Question number 5B. December 2021, question number 5B. December 2021, question number 5B. This one is asking me about management as a profession. It is saying, analyze 4 arguments against management as a profession. Analyze 4 arguments against management as a profession. So the same way they can tell you to explain management as a science. In yesterday's class, we talked about the skills that are required in management. So if you are in class yesterday, you can remember, we discussed about the skills that you require as a manager. In April 2022, question number 4A, they are saying, examine 3 skills required by managers at different levels, 6 marks. Examine 3 skills required by managers at different levels. That is something that we learned yesterday. We learned about the 6 skills and which level. You'll be able to watch the video. That was 6 marks. Something that we shall cover today, in our class today we shall cover, that is a question in May 2021. May 2021, question number 5. Question number 5A. You can write them down, please. They are saying, with regard to contemporary theories of management, discuss 3 categories of Henry Mintzberg's roles of management. And Mary, I just highlighted for you the roles of management we're going to cover today as advocated for by Henry Mintzberg. That was a question in 2021 and it's 9 marks. 9 marks. So it is important that you look at this. In May 2016, question number 3C, they are saying management is a science. Management is a science. Justify the above statement. Management is a science. So Mary, do you think that you can defend yourself in exam? That was how many marks? 5 marks. Can you discuss management as a science? Do you think you can survive that kind of question?
For me, I can survive.
You can try. Thank you.
Yeah.
The next one, they are saying that is 2015 September. Question number 2A. Question number 2A. September 2015. Question number 2A. They are saying, explain the universality of management concept. Explain the universality of management concept. 5 marks. Explain the universality of management concept. In other words, how do you think that management is universal? Why do you think management is universal? So I want to write this one because I'm not sure I'll get it somewhere again. Management process is universal. You can say that. Management process is universal. That is the first point. Management process is universal. The functions of management are applicable all over the world. The functions of management that we discussed yesterday, this is an area that we discussed yesterday, universality of management. And we say that some of the things that are applicable in management, which you find everywhere, is like the functions of management. So you can say that functions of management are universal or process of management are universal. That includes the planning, organizing, we discussed yesterday, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. They are applied everywhere. So that makes management universal. Number 2, management skills and principles are universal. The principles of management are universal. Principles of management are universal. And we talked about the principles that were given by Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol. One of them is unity of direction, unity of command, equity, scalar chain, division of labor, and such like things, right? Now, they are applied in Kenya just like they are applied in other parts of the world. So the principles, the functions are both universal. So that already will give you 4 marks because I told you to discuss. If you are explaining or discussing, each point should give you 2 marks. So that is already 4. The last point, you can say that management is universal. The management knowledge is universal. Management knowledge is universal. If you are a manager, the knowledge that you get in one country, you might find that maybe Mzungu ametoka US, akona experience. That experience, he can apply it in Kenya, right? Mzungu akona experience, ametoka US or UK, akikuja hapa Kenya, that knowledge can be applied here. So the management knowledge is universal. Management knowledge is universal. Even though they can be applied, they can be twisted depending on the situation, but they are still applicable universally. So it is argued that different countries have different cultures and varying levels of economic development. These cultures consist of attitudes, beliefs, and values. However, the knowledge, the skills can still be applied universally. So the only difference can be on the extent. If it is culture, just need to adapt the culture and know how to go around it, right? So those are part of the areas that we shall be able to cover. In yesterday's class, we talked about the importance of management in the organization, why management is good in the organization. That is a question that was set in 2015, question number 2B, importance of management, 8 marks. Importance of management, 8 marks. Maybe you can write that down so that when you'll be watching the videos, you'll be able to check the importance of management, 8 marks in the organization. Now let's get back to our today's class. I was just trying to highlight so that you can see. You can be able to see what we are trying to cover and its relevance. Usione tumepotea out or away from the syllabus. We are actually within the syllabus. We are within the syllabus, both in terms of the questions that were set and are being set, as well as the content coverage, syllabus coverage. Let's now proceed. Management as a profession. So let's define ourselves as on that. Why do you think that management is a profession? Though in that question they were saying that, can you argue against management as a profession? Things that makes you think that management is not a profession. Let's look at what makes you think that management is a profession. Management as a profession. So profession is an occupation carried by professional bodies. We have doctors, lawyers, architects, chartered accountants, CPAs, right? So we are saying that management has got a systematic and specialized body of knowledge consisting of principles, techniques, rules, and laws. I want to say that just like a profession, management has got a systematic and specialized body of knowledge. Just like professions, management have got, just like professions, management have got systematic and specialized body of knowledge. They have systematic and specialized body of knowledge consisting of principles, techniques, rules, and laws. They have systematic and specialized body of knowledge consisting of principles, techniques, rules, and laws. Let's look at the characteristics of profession. I hope to poa. Kama niko mbio sana, please let me know. Characteristics of profession. Why we might think that management is a profession. Characteristics of profession. Number 1, specialized knowledge. There are those who go to school just to study management. Like, we know that those who go to Kenya Institute of Management, it is an institute where people learn management. Number 2, just like profession, management has got formal education and training. You can train somebody to be a manager, just like you can train somebody to be lawyer, accountant, doctor, engineer. Formal education and training. So these are the things that make us think that management is actually a profession. Social responsibility and obligation. Doctors are always socially responsible. Doctors, they are socially responsible. The same thing applies with lawyers. And that is why during Mandamano, you could see lawyers coming in to assist people. They are not just assisting. It is their social responsibility to ensure that there is justice. Social responsibility. The same thing with management. As a manager, you need to ensure that you manage the environment. If you are doing, when you are doing your management accounting, we had social accounting, management social accounting, where you are trying to account for the impact of the business to the environment, right? How are you destroying the environment, and what is the cost of destroying the environment? So that is what we call the social responsibility. So just like lawyers have got social responsibilities, managers also have got social responsibility as far as the effect of their business are concerned, right? Thank you so much, Tony, for coming. Welcome and feel comfortable. Feel at home, eh? So that is social responsibility and obligations. Social responsibility and obligation. The next one is code of conduct.